Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to react to Chester P, A Dragon Never Hides Its Wings. Now this track was recommended to me to react to by a subscriber, and I'm going to try and decode some of his lyrics. I've never heard this one before. I know Chester P is an absolute wordsmith, so I'm going to try and decode some of these lyrics for you to see how I interpret them. So let's get straight into this.
I'm an orphan, absorbed by the death defiance, where this daily breath of life is my next alliance. On the prairie of forever with a new horizon, euthanizing all emotions still attached to dying, disentangling the circuitry of rapture, crying out from the tracks of triumph, crippled limits in the traps of Zion, Holy Spirit's trying to clap for science, metaphysically endorsed by the next appliance, extra piously enticed, man, I'm back to basics, chasing ghosts in this tunnel full of actors' faces. I'm senselessly advancing on the stature's paces, manufactured by the fractured places, where tomorrow never happens till the moment turns its back and chases.
Like I thought, these lyrics are just flying at me, and they're so poetic, they're so deep, they probably need to be listened to definitely more than once to fully grasp and for them to take on a whole new meaning of their own. This is how good Chester P is. And I watched a podcast interview of him about a year ago actually, and he said that he refused to change his style and the way he was writing his raps just to for commercial sort of acclaim and to do what the record labels wanted. He refused to do that. He stuck to his guns, and you've got to admire anybody who does that. Straight away here, a dragon never hides its wings. So I think what he's getting at here is a dragon is never shying away from the fact that it can fly, where a lot of us humans do. It's like that poem, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. But a lot of us kind of shy away from that because of all this prior conditioning that we've been told we're not good enough, or school teaches us to respect someone else's opinion above our own, and so we find it difficult to trust ourselves and therefore live lives that are a true expression of who we really are. So I think that's definitely what he's getting at here. And even the first line there, I'm an orphan, it's like, if you think about it, we kind of all are. Yes, we can be born into families and we get raised on those values and beliefs, and we take on all of those beliefs, but ultimately we're here to create our own environment and our own sort of conditioning. And that's why sometimes so many of us feel alone, because we might get triggered by certain beliefs that we've inherited, but then our true self is sort of pulling us in another direction. Sometimes we're sort of tangled between this need for physical achievement, material wealth, and spiritual alignment. Sometimes those things are all clashing, and I think that's what he's getting at here. So let's carry on with it.
After mysteries hidden in the sacred mazes, hatred raises up its arms for the killer's theme, lifting bloody heads from beneath the rusty guillotine. And this is life as we know it in the modern ages. The core's rotten, whispers of forgotten sages, downtrodden by the system of inoculation. No resistance from the mystics of approximation, hypnotized by the clock sedation. I stand timeless in the shadow of these rulers of a toxic nation. What a price we have to pay for the life of kings. I rise above it because
There's a lyric there, I stand timeless in the, what was it? I stand timeless in the shadows of these rulers of a toxic nation. So it's kind of like what I said, he's staying true to his values, being timeless, but in the shadow of these rulers of a toxic nation, because I think what he's getting at here is sort of trends and fashion and things like that, where the rulers are always going to go and follow those trends and push those trends because the nation is kind of toxic. It's all driven by wealth and monetary gain.
Of a toxic nation, what a price we have to pay for the life of kings. I rise above it because a dragon never hides its wings. I'm letting off my fires in the mazes. Stuck on yesterday until I'm facing this replacement. Hating on my virtues and the time it takes to shape them. I'm caught regardless in the darkness of my statements. Taste the vapors of the spectres on the paper chasing. Raised in sectors of the matrix with a taste for hating on anything that may resemble all of fate's creation. They take creation and destroy it with a sacred patience. Recreational destruction is the occupation. Tribal spacemen lost within the urban stages. I'm shamanic dodging doctors and inoculation. Slap religion out of Bibles and indoctrination. Geometrics, mathematics and approximation. Flower children growing from the shattered paving. Disillusioned, I'm sitting on the block with pagans. Scorching orchids in the morning under constellations. Where there's rosters of creation and the plots are vacant. Sculpting mobsters out of shadows and the rocks they're breaking. Chasing dragons through the caverns with their lost relations. Truth unravels in the fathoms of the consternations. Haunted nations, taverns in the juggle panels. Double barrels full of struggle in a fog's apparel.
Wow, these lyrics are just incredible. Like, slap religion out of Bibles and things like that. It's just absolutely so sort of deep, and it's radical sort of self-expression as well. Yeah, it's just crazy. This definitely needs another listen.
Shitty creeks, I'm peeking with my muddy paddle. It's love's enamel, drug mules and bloody saddles. What? I'm staying heavy for the sake of it. Life's a gamble, the stakes are what I make of it. A transformation, rise up and take a bit. The sleeping dragon, be careful don't awaken it. I'm still alive, my shadow in the sun's proof. So I begin to try to mystify the untruth. Blistering on desert sands, a single grain. Naming every stone turned over by the devil's hands. Rebel clans, searching for an inch of fame. Flashing lights, systems of a scripture's claims. Grip the bottle tight to swing against the authorship. A maiden voyage through the ocean full of richer waves. Temptations, fawns, dismantled by the misbehaved. Sticks and
Temptations, forms dismantled by the misbehaves. Temptation is all around us, isn't it? All the time, and quite often it's dismantled by the misbehaves. It's just so poetic in what he's saying, because temptation forms, but it's dismantled by the misbehaves. Yeah, because I suppose when temptation forms, it can be a form until you get involved with it, and it's dismantled by the misbehaved. Just incredible, like, poetry.
By the misbehaved, sticks and stones in glass houses where we scrimp and save, throwing glances at the answer to the sick depraved. Laughter that is heard in the darkness of the pictured caves. True ellipsis eclectically eclipse my shade, where I find the true fixtures of the hidden grades. Forbidden glades, searching for a colder climb. Overheating, self-defeat in my sober mind. To all degrees, they're sleeping on a bed of stories. They saw a map and felt they understood the territory. A bunch of rhymes self-designed to describe myself. A bunch of lies they designed so they can hide themselves. No parallel, apparel of the dead and gory. The rags.
So right there he's saying, again, where he's staying true to himself, a bunch of rhymes self-designed to describe myself. Is like he's really trying to find the truth of himself and dig deep and come out to express himself. This is kind of like what Bruce Lee says about trying to express yourself honestly. And this is what Chester P, I believe, is saying here, that he's designing these rhymes to express himself in an honest way. But then all around him, all of these people are designing not rhymes, but lives that are not honest, you know, because again, I think what he's getting at here is it's all monetary gain, and there's much more to life than that. There's a deeper meaning.
The hell is free, wisdom isn't bred for glory. The rose is red, the prose reverse the soldier's dread. I stroll through heaven like the devil wasn't told I'm dead. I stroll through heaven like the devil wasn't told I'm dead. The hidden gold is never carried cause the soul is led. Reverse alchemy, none of us are concentrated. See, this marriage wasn't consecrated. Ultimatums in the hourglass, motivating movements of the shifting sands of time on the road sedated. Hand signals, no virtue for the Virgin Mary. Sister Magdalene resisted by the serpent early. In the book of life, erasing all the births of Seth. It's dead canaries in a mine shaft of certain death. I am worth this attention you should pay to hear. Intention over ritual. Habitually I shake the fear free from underneath my skin and speak it to your aching ears. I shake the spears of destination that Satan fears. I was deafened by the vacant cheers. I felt the hatred as the stakes appeared greater than the snakes and peers. Forever young, in the square trying to shape the sphere. Looking back at yesterday, amazed I've made it here. Man, it's been a couple months without the taste of beer. Defacing all the faces in the shadows just to make it clear. See, I am just a moment as I hustle forth. Stranger than the fiction being spoken by a couple frauds. I was shuttled by the utter force of karma into struggle's jaws. I am simply human here and nothing more. My imperfections are the beauty of my life's capers. Fuck a couple flaws, I am like a skyscraper. I'm whipping angels into shape with some fly paper. I take a moment to dissolve into divine vapors, then revolve around the surface of my mind's craters. Time takes us, aging underneath the heat. The path of healing as I'm winding underneath my feet. Sleepily I find myself patient as the street repeats. The same notions, stillness became motion. Self-distilled by the keepers of a drained ocean. The same notions, stillness became motion. Self-distilled by the keepers of a drained ocean.
Wow, that's incredible. That is an incredible. Thank you so much for the recommendation to listen to this, because it's fantastic. I need to definitely listen to this more than once to be able to fully sort of decode some of these things, because there's just so many like absolute gems in there, like golden nuggets of information and knowledge, and it's just incredible, absolutely incredible. I see at the end there he's talking about he hasn't had a taste of beer in a few months. So yeah, I don't know if this is going along the aid of sort of like addiction as well, and talking about that, about, because a lot of people will sort of self-medicate and take these sort of substances to kind of like refuse to look at themselves in the mirror type thing. That might sound a little bit harsh, but you know, I think that's what he's getting at here, because again, if you're like drinking beer or whatever, you're just trying to make yourself feel better, and it can feel really scary, you know, to not have that as a way to deal with your negative emotions, because he talks about here like stillness becomes emotion, and it's like, so we get calm feelings in our body, I think is where he's going with this, and then that can become emotion, because you can sort of hear it, feel it, and then a lot of us have got these, whatever it may be, you know, these little addictions to deal with that sort of disruptive feelings, and in this case beer, he uses the example, and that's just something that's been found as a temporary solution to feel better, you know. And but yeah, this is absolutely incredible. Please let me know another recommendation to watch of Chester P, because I do love his work. I've not heard much of him, so I really want to hear more. I hope I've done a bit of a job on this one. This is quite hard work, not because of Chester P. He's like, it's just because I've got to watch this more than once, because there's so much to decode in there. But it's absolutely incredible. So let me know what you want to see next. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.